Hello, my beautiful people. I hope everybody's good. I've spent most of the day at the hospital. Good news is that they've managed to sort of revive my dad. He's on a ward where um, they're trying to get him strong enough to be able to actually have chemo. So that's good. I've spent most of the day with him and had a bit of dramas on the ward today. He wanted to go out for a fag, like a cigarette, if you're American, cigarette, or he wanted a bit of fresh air. And I didn't even notice when I first came into the ward, it wasn't there, his wheelchair. We took his wheelchair up there yesterday, yeah? Because I knew he'd want it. And he phoned me this morning and he wanted me to go. He was a hell of a lot more coherent. So I think the blood transfusion has really helped him. And I said, yeah, no worries. I've got everything together. I've managed to get, him together and everything. I've gone to look round the side of the curtain. There's no wheelchair. I'm like, right, now before I lose my shit and go mad, like I normally do, let me go and ask one of the nurses. I'm like, the nurse that I've seen that has sort of dealt with me dad, you know what I mean, on that day, because she came and spoke to him. I said, excuse me, you moved his wheelchair? And she said, no. She said, not at all, no. So I was like, right, someone's taken his wheelchair. So there's a tea leaf in here. Right, which one of you's had it? And then the bed opposite, he said a geezer came in. He said, earlier. He said, and took it. He said he didn't look like he worked here. He looked like a smackhead sort of thing. And I was like, right, that's it. I'm going to find it. And that's it. I've gone, I've spoke to, like, say, the nurses. They said they hadn't moved it. Obviously, I ain't that. I'm not rude. I'm not going to go and start sticking my head in every curtain and every room. You know what I mean? So I'm like, right. My dad said, oh, someone's probably took it and they've left it downstairs by the door. It's not a big deal. I'm like, right, I'll go look for it. So I've gone marching down, and so now I've got the I've gone marching down there. I've gone to the main door, ain't there. Gone to the back door, ain't there. Gone back up to the wall. The nurse like, oh, he's still can't find it. I'm like, no. So what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? I'm losing my shit because now my dad wants to go out for a cigarette. My dad is my main priority. You know what I mean? He's bought his own £200 wheelchair and someone's tea leafed it. You know what I'm saying? She said, well, come round. She said, have you looked in all? I said, no, I ain't going to do that. Who goes around going, peekaboo, you stole my wheelchair? Like, these are dying people. Like, of course I ain't. So anyway, we walked around, checked the day room, and I was like, I was over it by then. I was like, look, can I just borrow this big ass, hefty hospital thing that ain't even a wheelchair? It's a chair with 4 wheels on it. And I'm thinking, I don't know how I'm going to push him all the way downstairs in this thing without him falling out for one. It's got no sides. Like I was angry. So anyways, I'm walking out the room, I'm like, wow. And then I've turned my head and I've clocked it. I've seen it. Just sitting there in some guy's room. And instantly I just boom. I see the geezer laying on the bed, and in my head, instantly I see myself going there and just crack, you know what I mean? Or literally throttling the geezer. And I took the step, and then I thought, no, don't. You know what I mean? The last thing you need is to be dragged out of here by old Bill and by security, you know what I mean, kicking and screaming. At the end of the day, no matter what, whether the geezer stole the wheelchair or not, he's still someone that's laying in a hospital bed. You know what I mean? So I was like, rotted, like, I can't do this. So I said to the nurse, I said, I think you better go and get that wheelchair for me now, please, because I can't go in there. I don't trust myself. And she went in, she was like, oh, did you by any chance take a wheelchair that wasn't yours? he went, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, well, it's time to have it back now, mate. And she went, I'm just going to take it. And I was like, why is she not going there and say something proper? Like, what are you doing being a tea leaf on the wall? You can't be doing that. You just can't be doing it. This ain't no like A&E, like where you don't think things like that's going to happen. So Matt, basically, the geezer has walked past, he's clocked the wheelchair and thought, if that's still there in the morning, I'm having that. He thought he was going to get away with it. What a fun. Anyways, I got the wheelchair back and it was like, alright, whatever. I didn't think about it again. I weren't going to go up and say nothing, see nothing. Just was going to leave it at that. We've gone down and boom, boom, boom. Me and my old man smoking a roll up. You know, like a roll, you know, self roll. Because that's what he smokes and I didn't bring anything with me anyway, so I had to smoke that. I ain't fussy, to be honest with you. You know. And he's only come walking out like some frail. He looked like he'd been on the gear for like 40 years, and Hepatitis C had caught up with him or something. That he had like greasy, scraggly hair, baseball cap, skinny as anything. He looked like the atypical crackhead, smackhead, you know, heroin addict. And he's only someone else has come out and he's only chatting to this geezer. I'm talking away to my dad and I brought me back to him and my dad went, can you turn me around a little bit so I can see? I said, yeah, no worries. And I've turned him around and as I've gone a step back in front of my dad, I clocked that it was the geezer. And I've turned me back, I said, that was the geezer that had the fucking wheelchair. And my dad went, yeah. And the geezer that he's talking to is fucking lucky that I can't get out of this chair. And I was like, oh, all right. So I've had a little look and I was like, well, what's that all about then, Dad? He said, no, it's just one of them things. He didn't tell me. He just said, you know, one of them, like, when you see someone, it's on sight. And I ain't seen him. So he's lucky I can't get out of this chair. Because my old man's an animal. He's an animal, mate. Military, they are, aren't they? But he's just too, you know, he's become really, really placid. You know, I'm slowly learning to. I have been. That's why I shut myself off for many years because I'm super aggressive and I don't like that. I don't want to be like that. But because I grew up in a household where I had nobody to defend me, nobody, not my mum, no one. I had to learn to defend myself. You know what I mean? And I don't like being like that. You know, I don't want to be that sort of person. That's why I genuinely am. I've got such a big heart, and that's probably due to the trauma. But I've always been like that, and I'm very big on principalities and stuff. You know what I mean? And morals. I'm sorry, I am. You show me that you ain't got no morals or you ain't got no principles. Nah. Me and you, we ain't gonna gel. You know what I mean? So simple. So yeah, I nearly did. I swear to God, I see myself just cracking the geezer straight in the face. But then I thought, nah, come on. No matter what, I'm going to be in the wrong. Don't matter that he's tea leaf, you know what I mean? He's nicked the chair. That don't mean nothing. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, my mate, he brought it in. Nah. But he even tried to talk to us outside. That's what's funny. He was like, oh, sorry about that. And I was like, yeah, it's all right, mate, no worries. I'm trying not to, you know what I mean? I'm trying not to engage with the geezer because I don't want to scream at the geezer. And I'm like, it's all right, mate, no worries. We've got the chair back. And he's edging closer and closer to us, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's a real nifty one, isn't it, that one? It's like really fast. I'm like, yeah, mate, it is, you know what I mean? I thought, I swear to fucking God, if you take one more step, just one more step, mate, then I am going to get in your face. But he took the hint of me just turning my back to him. you know. It just got to me because it's like he's in a palliative care ward. You know what I mean? But luckily the geezer across see it and he told me exactly what the geezer looked like and he had him spot on. He said, I didn't think he worked here. He said, but I didn't want to jump in. And my old man was like, I don't mind sharing nothing with no one. If he needed it to get downstairs and use it, no worries. But it is taking a piss, keeping it in your room. He said, I don't mind sharing it, I don't mind sharing it with anyone if they want to go down and have a cigarette. But, we all know that either he needed a wheelchair and it would have saved him a couple of £100, or second he'd have got out there, he would have gone cash converters and sold it, you know what I mean, for 20, 30 quid. Or he might have known someone old that wanted one and it's a 30, 40 quid in their pocket, you know what I mean? It's in their skyrocket, you know what I'm saying? He was definitely, and I am not being judgmental, I'm not. He was a smackhead, without a doubt. Just by the things that he was saying to the other geezer, what they were talking about when we were out there, because I weren't focusing on him. But you know when people are loud and you can't help but hear them. But apart from that, my old man seems to, he reckons that as soon as he gets to 9 o'clock, it changes in there, because 9 o'clock you can't, that's it, visiting time's over. He said, like the nurse change over, the night nurses, he said they have him in stitches. He said they say some of the most filthiest jokes, and like he said it's proper, he said he said I don't know what it is. He said some other geezers come up from some other ward and they go and sit with the geezer across there, because when I walked in, that's another thing. When I walked in on the ward, I literally stepped round the ward. I was like, God, it smells like lager in here. Why does it smell like alcohol, like beer? It literally smelled like someone had had a drink the night before, spilt it on the floor, and it was left there. And my old man's telling me about like the people come up and see this geezer across and bring him a couple of cans of Tennant Super and my old man said, I'm going out with the big boys club tonight. I'm like, what's that? We'll go down and I'm like, so you've actually been downstairs? He said, oh yeah, like I was like, that's mental. But I was like, just be careful though, Dad. Don't get yourself stuck downstairs. You know what I mean? You are still reliant on a wheelchair at the end of the day. But it's obviously a little something that they do every night. I don't know. But it sounds like I say, I walked on there and it smelled like lager. Instantly, the first thing I said, it smells like lager. What? Who's drinking on this wall? I ain't the nurses. And my dad was like, no, it's the geezer across there. But I've got to say that everyone was all right. Everyone, the people on the wall, they're proper chatty, nice, you know what I mean? So my dad ain't on his own, because I was a bit worried, with the social isolation, but he seems to be socialising really well. And he ain't not eaten a meal, he's had 3 squares, he drinking water out of the jug. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why was you not doing this at home? He was like, oh, because I know that I was near death, Don't get me wrong, I haven't got my hopes up, because the specialist has said, 8 weeks at best, even with chemo. But they're giving him a real strong intravenous antibiotic. He's been given steroids. It seems like the lump has gone down actually. But he got woke up. He got woke up 3 o'clock this morning. Nurses everywhere, all around him, panicking, freaking out, saying it had gone wrong with a cannula, and he's literally bleeding out, covered in blood. Apparently the bed was covered in it. I see there was still a couple of drips on the floor. He said, I don't know what happened there. He said, I just got woke up and it was just hands and elbows and everything, just like, oh, you're covered in blood. They're freaking out, pulling all his clothes off. You know what I mean? So, and then they realised it was coming from the cannula, but apparently it was a lot of blood. But he's doing he's doing okay. You know, I think I'm gonna get the 8 weeks with him. Put it that way. So, you know, I found out quite a few interesting things today that I never knew. I only, you know, my dad told me he's had several traumatic brain injuries. The, the paratrooping one wasn't the only one. He had one before that, car crash. And I was like, why? How did I not know this? He said, yeah. He said, I've had a few of them. He said, but one of them was I had a severe head injury. I'm like, three, he said, three traumatic brain injuries. I said, so basically, they knocked the sense out of you, knocked it back into you, and then they knocked it back out of you again. He said, pretty much. So yeah, he's actually, you know, I even told him, I said to him, I honestly thought that was going to be the last time that I ever saw you. He said, well, I thought that was going to be the last time I saw you. So I asked him what he was seeing, and he was very, very close to death. Because I brought up, I said, yeah, you were saying that you thought the house was haunted. You know, and he said, it is. I said, oh, so you still think it then? He said, no, it is. I was like, well, what was you seeing? He said, I'd close my eyes, he said, and I would just see clear pictures like a TV screen. And I was like, right, well, what was you seeing? He said, horrible stuff, nasty stuff, and hearing things as well. So I'm like, I equate horrible and nasty stuff to violence, aggression, low vibrations, isn't it? My dad, he's lived in low vibrations for a long time, and I think that he didn't get the beautiful bright white light and the family members. He got carnage, and you know, I was like, right, I understand now. I was like, you do understand how close to death you actually was? He said, oh yeah, yeah. But I am thankful to the NHS. I really am. I was very salty, and I'm not afraid to say it. And I will always apologise when I'm wrong, because that's the sort of person I am. It takes nothing to apologise. You know, I was wrong. I thought they weren't going to do anything, but they've really, really pulled their finger out. They really have. So I cannot. This, apart from them letting the geezer, you know what I mean, some tea leaf just take my old man's wheelchair. That's the only thing that's gone wrong. And I stopped myself from, because I don't with thieves. I just don't. That's one thing. Don't ever rob off me, and don't ever lie to me. You know, because there's no need to. You just ain't no need to. You come and ask me, I'll give it to you. You know what I mean? That's why I don't trust liars and I don't trust thieves. And I've been absolutely blessed throughout my entire relationship. There's been no cheating on either side. There's been no attempted cheating on either side. There's only been good and realness. So I think that as well as I've lived for the last 5 years very, very high vibrationally. I really, really have. I've tried to spread so much love and positivity, and you know, learning. I've learned a lot over the last 5 years, because my default was just to get angry, and that's very childish, very, very childish. If you can't control your emotions, you know, you're emotionally immature, then you need to go and see someone, because you affect your own life. And some people get addicted to, this is another thing that they say, a study that I've heard, you can get addicted to being angry, same as you can get addicted to being sad, because whatever chemical you're releasing, whether it's endorphins, adrenaline, whatever it is, yeah, you become addicted to that chemical. And that's why you become sad and stay sad, and then like the slightest little thing and it knocks you completely way off course. You know, it's because you're addicted to that chemical. Um, we make our life. We make or break it, our decisions and the way that we see things. Things that are out of our control, just let it be out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, why stress about it? We do it to ourselves. I've done it. I used to be the biggest stressor in the world. Freak out over the slightest little thing. You know, oh, that's it. Fucking bollocks to it all. Fuck it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like one of them people. It always happens to me. Why does it happen to me? Shall I tell you why? Because I can take it. That's why it happens to me. Why not? Why not? That's what you need to ask yourself when you go, why does it happen to me? Why not? Well, you're not strong enough to take it. That's what you need to start asking. Not why. Why me? Why not me? Why not me instead of someone else? I can take it. People don't see it like that. They see every downfall as a loss. Whereas I see it as I can defeat that. If I can overcome that and not let that get me down, not let that get me into a low vibration, I've won. And it's a game. And you have to play the game with yourself. You know, when you do good, pat yourself on the back. Don't be ashamed of it. It's not gloating. If you've done well, pat yourself and you feel like you've done well, you're entitled to that feeling. We need to stop fussing, fighting over silly, remedial little things and start uniting. We really do, before it's too late. Because all I can see is the scale getting tipped the other way. That's all that's going to happen. You know, it's not like. It's hard, man. This is so hard to make people see what they have inside of them and how powerful they are. Every answer is within you. You just need to go inside. You just need to go inwards. You know, shadow work, self-love, self-care, meditation, whatever. Even if you sit in silence, people can't do that these days. I'm telling you, if you can do a 10-minute meditation a day, within a day, you will feel, just doing it once, you will feel calmer in your mood. And once you recognise, now I feel calmer and settled, you realise how unsettled you felt without even knowing that that's normal. And that's what they're doing to us. This is what they want. It's hard. I just want to help every person that I can in any way possible. And that's why I was going to say, I didn't want to say this at the beginning, because you know what I mean, it ain't about gloating. But I was quite surprised actually, because they're not super expensive or anything, you know what I mean, it ain't like top of the range, but bless him, Mark, because they're getting into YouTube, and like I've said, I really would like to go and, you know, help people on the street, you know, people that really do appreciate the help and want the help, you know, and maybe do some interviews with them. Like I see a lot of people doing them, and I'm the last person that would exploit anybody. It's just not in my nature. So anyway, bless him. I don't know when he was keeping hold of it for, but he said, look, as you hit 100, I got something for you, a little present. Bless him. He bought me some microphones, so like portable ones. So that plugs into the bottom of your phone, and then you've got a little portable. I was like, oh, bless you, really? I did not think that man was interested, cared, wasn't, you know, his little charge, and you can charge your phone off of it as well. I didn't think he was paying attention. I honestly didn't think that he cared, you know, about it. I thought he thought it was a load of crap, like, not interested. But he obviously has listened to me, and I was like, when he gave it to me today, I was like, oh, bless you. Really, like, that's so sweet, because I don't need diamonds and pearls and expensive clothes and perfume. You know what I mean? Just he listened and he knew. And I don't know how long he's had, how long he's been holding it. Boom, boom, no, obviously. But he said, as you hit 100, there you go. So at least I can, when I'm out, you know, you can hear me better. Or if I'm interviewing somebody on the street or whatever. But especially it'd be good for my conversations with my dad, because as his voice is getting less and less, you know. So you'd have to excuse the way I look, people. I don't care. I look how I feel. Shattered. So all good. All good. I think that's it, people, really. So I appreciate each and every one of you that has hit the thumbs up, subscribed, or even got to this point. I know most people don't watch to this point. So I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of yous probably tomorrow, feeling a little bit better, a little bit more energy. Yeah. Catch you later, guys. Peace, love, and respect. Be kind to each other, yeah? Be kind to yourselves as well, please.